The city twisted around me. Buildings stretched upwards, grotesque and wrong. Lights flickered, casting dancing shadows that whispered secrets I couldn't quite grasp. I felt lost, adrift in a sea of concrete and steel.
An unsettling hum vibrated beneath Hero's feet, a constant reminder that this world was not right. He hugged his arms around himself, trying to find comfort in the familiar pressure against his chest. He wished for the world to stop spinning, for the shadows to stop whispering, but the city held him tight in its grasp, refusing to let go.
The air crackled with unseen energy. I felt a prickle on the back of my neck, the unsettling sensation of being watched. I turned, searching for the source of my unease, but all I found were empty streets and the ever-present shadows, twisting and contorting in my peripheral vision. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the silence of the city. I was trapped, lost in a labyrinth of my own mind. Fear, sharp and cold, wrapped around me like a shroud. It whispered that there was no escape, no way out of this nightmare. I stared at my reflection in the window. My eyes, usually bright and full of life, were now dull and distant. I barely recognized the stranger staring back at me, my face pale and drawn. I felt a pang of sadness, a longing for the boy I used to be.
He raised his hand, pressing it against the cool glass. The world outside was a blur, a jumble of colors and shapes that refused to resolve into anything recognizable. His reflection mimicked the movement, a hollow imitation of life.
A wave of dizziness washed over me, and I stumbled back, clutching at the edge of a table for support. The world tilted, threatening to spill me into the abyss. I squeezed my eyes shut, willing myself to stay grounded, to fight the pull of the darkness that threatened to consume me. I was trapped, a prisoner in my own mind. I longed for escape, for the suffocating walls of my perception to crumble away. But the harder I fought, the tighter the walls seemed to close in, crushing me beneath their weight. A sudden burst of laughter pierced through the fog in my mind. It was a familiar sound, a sound that pulled at the edges of my awareness. I turned, searching for the source, a beacon of light in the encroaching darkness.
He saw them then, his classmates, their faces illuminated by the warm glow of the setting sun. They were laughing, joking, their voices a comforting melody amidst the cacophony in his head. For a fleeting moment, the world snapped back into focus.
I remembered this place, this feeling, the weight of my backpack on my shoulders, the smell of freshly cut grass, the anticipation of going home after a long day. It was a memory, a fragment of a life I used to know, but the memory was fleeting, fading like smoke on the wind.
Hero, are you okay?
The laughter died down, replaced by the unsettling silence of his distorted world. The faces of his classmates blurred, their features melting away until they were nothing more than grotesque caricatures. The clock on the wall mocked Hero with its steady ticking. Each tick was a hammer blow, driving him deeper into despair.
I can't stay here, trapped in this room that feels more like a cage. I have to escape, even if it means plunging headlong into the chaos of my own mind.
He rose from his bed, his movements driven by a desperate need for freedom. The room swayed around him, but he pushed forward, ignoring the dizziness that threatened to overwhelm him. The hallway beckoned, a dark and twisting tunnel that promised escape.
Just keep moving, Hero. You can do this.
He crept past the nurse's station, his heart pounding in his chest. The air thrummed with unseen energy, whispers swirling around him, urging him onward. He couldn't tell if they were real or just figments of his imagination, but he clung to their guidance, desperate for any kind of direction.
Almost there. Just a little further.
The exit sign glowed at the end of the hall, a beacon of hope in the darkness. He stumbled towards it, each step a victory against the invisible forces that tried to hold him back. He had to reach it, had to break free from this prison of his own mind. Hero's hand connected with the cold, hard surface of the door. He slammed against it, his hope shattering like thin ice. It wouldn't budge.
No, it has to open.
He rattled the handle, a growing sense of panic welling up inside him. He was trapped. He spun around, his eyes darting back and forth. The hallway stretched out before him, but it wasn't the hallway he remembered. The walls were closer, the ceiling lower, pressing down on him, stealing his breath.
This can't be real. It can't be.
A figure materialized at the far end of the hall, shrouded in shadow. It moved with an unnatural fluidity, gliding towards him, its features obscured by the darkness. Fear coiled in the pit of his stomach, cold and sharp.
You can't escape, Hero. You're trapped.
He stumbled back, his mind reeling. The whispers intensified, taunting him, mocking his desperate attempts to escape. He was trapped in this nightmare, and the walls were closing in.